the 7th of August. And it was John Hoven who said, caring for our seniors is perhaps the greatest responsibility we have. Those who walked before us have given so much and made possible the life we all enjoy. Let's mark the day and introduce three guests. Two of them, I'm happy to say, are in the studio. That's Cedric McBera, who's a manager at Ruby's Nursing Care, Canberra, and also Michelle Bennett, who's the Village Central Manager, or General Manager, I should say. I'll get it right in a moment. And joining us on the line is Alice Butler, Client Services Coordinator at Woden Community Services, or Service. Alice, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, we got you. Okay. Just making sure. Just checking. And in the studio, as I mentioned, is Cedric and Michelle. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. How do we mark this day? And what's the great importance of it, Cedric?
The greatest important thing is to thank the people who work in the aged care industry, and they do great work looking for elderly, and it requires a lot of compassion to do it. And I just want to say to them, thank you, thank you very much for the great work that you do.
Michelle, why do we have to have one day? I mean, shouldn't every day be like a day where we actually acknowledge the work of aged care employees?
Oh, it'd be lovely to acknowledge it every day. I think the reason that we have the one day is to ensure that we do celebrate those team members, and it allows us in the organisation of aged care to celebrate everybody. So we have International Nurses Day, which we recognise, but it's great to be able to recognise every single employee that contributes in a business organisation. So for us, we mark the occasion with our cultural committees having picked that we would do a morning tea with all of our residents, because that's the caring nature of our employees, is that they don't want to leave our residents out even though it's their day. So yesterday we did a morning tea with them, and then we did a little picture competition with all of our residents, and they got behind to ensure that their favourite employee would be the winner of all of the prizes, which was really special.
Alice, do you reckon the work of these people is underestimated?
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate on that, Alice?
Because they don't know how hard it is, and without our support workers, who's going to look after our elderly?
Okay, go on, keep going.
And we have to thank all these workers who dedicate their lives in supporting all these people, and I would like to thank them for their caring attitude.
That's great. Now, you're the Client Services Coordinator at Woden Community Service. What does that entail as far as demands go? I guess they'd be quite numerous.
Well, yes, it is. It looks like the demand is greater than the supply, because as a Client Services Coordinator, this is a very challenging job, actually, matching the preferences of the old people, or the older people. What time do they want? What day do they want? So I have to respect their preferences. And if you are short-staffed, you had it because you got nowhere to go. You got nowhere to make the resources and things like that. So we have a great influx of referrals lately. So the demand is getting higher and higher.
Yeah, I guess, Cedric, COVID would have made a difference in trying to attract people into that industry, or that business, I should say, or that profession. It really is a profession, it's not a business, is it?
Yeah, it is. COVID has made things very, very hard and very difficult for, for a professional to come into it, as everybody's just trying to, to be very careful and try to stay away from contact with each other. And our staff as well, we're finding them it's a very challenging time. And but despite that, they have to keep going as the elderly requires care. So,
Michelle, how do you feel about that? Is it easy to get staff?
Oh, it's very challenging, particularly in Canberra with public service around us. But I think the people that choose to come and work in aged care, they've got a particular personality about them. You don't last very long if you don't genuinely have care and love for the residents that you're handling every day and that you're making their life better. And I think the biggest thing is that everyone that we all employ has the genuine interest of the resident in mind every single day that they come to work. So they do take very deep responsibility for their duties and for the care that they're giving.
It's good to hear that, because there's been so much controversy about aged care, as we all know. There's an elephant in the room here, but it's not reflective of, it's not a general reflection. It's, I'm sure that, like every industry or every profession or every business, and it is a business in some cases, there are bad apples in there.
I think there are bad apples, but I haven't met many managers that would tolerate that, because we come into the industry wanting the best for our people, and that includes both our staff and our residents at all times. So having someone that doesn't have that genuine care, they don't last very long. They kind of naturally attrition out.
Well, we can always hope, Cedric, that a Royal Commission like this will help clean it up. You know, for the few that are, you know, abusing their positions, that this is a good wake-up call for them. Bearing in mind, again, it's not a general observation.
Absolutely, yeah. We're just hoping that the Commission will sort of help and tidy it up. I mean, in any industry, there are always some bad apples here and there, but they're always to be cleaned up. But generally, I think 90% of the employees who are in the industry, they've got a passion for it. You have to have passion to, just like what Michelle says, to stay in the job.
Let's go to Alice. Alice, do you require very much training, or do people sort of, as Cedric said, have that natural ability and certainly the natural aptitude, or do you have to sort of undergo fairly extensive training? How does it work?
We do training, and we also observe for the worker, the applicant, if they have that passion to look after the elderly with this sort of job. And the training is mainly like body shift, but we require them to have a certain certificate now because of this compliance thing from the government, that they must have a certificate to do this job. Even let's say it's only for cleaning, but they must have a certificate so that they can do other jobs as well, like showering people and supporting them individually, or doing taking them to their to their activities and things like that. So they need a certificate. These people, applicants, they need a certificate so that they can get the job.
You all do a fantastic job, and I'll bounce very quickly off Michelle, Cedric, and you, Alice. I'll start with you because we got you on the line there. Alice, what do you see as the main challenges as we go forward?
The challenges is short staffing. When I have some people they get sick and I got no resources, I need to find some other way to support these people. I don't want them to miss the service, and also the matching what they prefer. That's the big challenge for me, because some of them, they have certain days only that they're available. They have certain preference for gender of the worker. So I have to respect their preferences. So that's the most challenging. If there's a big influx of referrals, that makes it difficult for me, because I want them to have the services straight away.
Okay. What about you, Cedric?
In the industry, I mean, what I found most challenging, especially for elderly, is probably the funding, for the government funding, which is sort of like, you find, because we do lots of in the community, and you find they've got a little funding, which is not enough for them to get the services they require. And
it's a universal problem, really.
Exactly. And for them, and you absolutely know that, the client really needs more hours, or, maybe overnight care or something, but you can't do it because there's no funding for it. And the process of it takes really, really long time, and it makes our elderly, so stressful.
Michelle?
I completely agree with what Alice and Cedric just said, that attracting people into the industry and then keeping them passionate and, I guess, progressing through so that they can remain in the industry is really important to us. Looking after our residents' funding, and particularly at the moment, I'm sure that we're all in the same boat where we're, with COVID restrictions the way that they are, it's about social engagement for our residents and to keep them connected to the community, because they're not getting that family interaction. So I think we all take very personally the responsibility of keeping them connected and socially engaged with additional activities and interactions throughout Canberra.
Good on you for what you're doing, and you're doing a fantastic job, and you are underestimated. You really are.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in, Michelle, and also Cedric. And Alice, thank you very much for joining us on the line.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Cedric, of course. Cedric, I'll get the name right.
That's all right.
I was just testing you to see if you knew it. Cedric, who's a manager at Ruby's Nursing Care, Canberra. And Alice Butler, who's the Client Services Coordinator at Woden Community Service.